Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination Reading for the sign of Capricorn. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. This is exactly that, a reading that is going to be taking a look at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. So I'm going to be pulling some cards here to start the reading, one of which is going to be the area of illumination. We will then look at a block or a challenge in that area in your life, advice as to how to overcome it, and then we'll look at a level of abundance or spiritual growth that wants to come in on the other side of that for you. So Capricorn, let's see what is coming through. Cards are awfully quiet. Usually a card pops out by now. Okay, oh, interesting. I can see why the cards are quiet because it looks like you are very busy. Okay, so Capricorn, these are the cards that represent your energy. We have the Queen of Swords, we have the Chariot, and we have the Eight of Wands. There is a sense of getting very clear as to perhaps movement that needs to be made. There may be a feeling of the energy picking up around you. There's also a sense coming through just intuitively with these cards that the timing is now. And with the Queen of Swords, she is someone who is very able to clearly state her truth. There's a sense here of really being able to speak from that place of the time is now to move on something. The time is now to get the wheels in motion, which is interesting because that really came through in the collective reading for this week. But it seems to me what's coming through here for your sign specifically is that you are really in alignment with that energy. Okay, so this is what your spirit or your soul is highlighting, illuminating for you at this time because there is something in this area of your life that needs a little focus and attention. So we have Judgment and we have the Seven of Wands. Now, Judgment speaks to the energy of a fundamental change within the self, meaning that when you look at the card of Judgment, Judgment is a card literally of that. It's like Judgment Day. It's being called up from the dead. So it really speaks to when we have judgment come in our life in this way, a part of ourself has had to die away for us to now be fundamentally changed, to be called up as a new version of ourselves. And I often speak to this as this can be a fundamental change, like we go through a change in life where we become a parent for the first time. And now we can not go back to never having been a parent. It can be where we enter the workplace for the first time, or we graduate from college and we finally become a college graduate. We can't go back to having never been a college graduate. You know, there's things like this in our life that happen all the time that fundamentally change who we are and where we are in our perspective at any given point in our life experience. But with the Seven of Wands, there's a sense here of really defending this new position, this new calling, perhaps even for some of you with Judgment, that there may be something changing in your physical experience or something changing internally, and you're being called, or what's being highlighted is how you are choosing to defend your actions from this new position, or potentially how you are being asked to maybe look at how you might be defending an old way of being in light of a new version of yourself being called up to emerge. So we'll jump in to see what this really looks like here. Now, your underlying energy is the Six of Cups, which is interesting because that's the energy of, that can be the energy of nostalgia. It can be going back in time. It can be getting a gift from the past. It can also be somebody coming back from the past as well. But it's where we emotionally connect with a time in our past, often around a time of innocence. And we can look back fondly, as I was saying, through the sense of nostalgia. We can have those kind of rose-colored glasses of looking back and thinking the time was better when, that kind of feeling. But it can also really speak to making peace with the past as well. So for some of you, there may be a sense here where you're getting a chance, possibly with Judgment, even a second chance at something, or a second. When we think of the Chariot and the Eight of Wands, this is getting in the Chariot, which is you. That's the Emperor who sits in he's the charioteer here. And it's almost like you're ascending back into your position of authority or power within your own life. You're holding the reins and you're ready to go. Eight of Wands. You're ready to take on what comes your way as we start to move. And when you think about, chariots are meant to move quite fast. And that can be daunting. That can be scary when we know that it's time to finally accept a fundamental change in our life, and it's time now to move forward as that version of ourselves. And that might mean that as you get into this chariot to move forward, you are literally making peace with either a past version of yourself, you're making peace with maybe something in your life that didn't allow you to move forward in the way that you're choosing to move forward now. You might actually have gained a new perspective, possibly. There may be a sense of even releasing somebody from the past, but we'll dive a little deeper in as I pull some more cards here. So with the World and the Four of Swords underscoring the Six of Cups, there's a finiteness to this energy, meaning there's almost like a book closing. The World card really speaks to the energy of a major cycle coming to an end, and us really being able to look at the lessons we've learned, look at what we went through in that cycle. And the Four of Swords, it's a very positive card to come out with the World, because it really shows being in that place of reflection, contemplation, of reflecting on what happened, on reflecting on the pain and the positive aspects, and what is the truth you discovered about yourself? What are those lessons learned so that you can move forward? And for some of you, this might actually be, which is interesting, moving forward into a past version of your experience that maybe life got in the way of. This could be where we are finding as grandparents that we get a second chance to maybe enjoy the sweetness of life that we didn't get as, let's say, when we were a parent and we had to work and we had to raise the kids and everything was happening and we didn't get a chance to really enjoy the fruits of our labor in that moment. And maybe now on the other side, through your grandchildren or just through having a slower pace of life, you finally get that chance to kind of go back to what again, you worked towards or what you were hoping to have achieved, but you get a chance to go back and enjoy it again. There could be a sense of that for some of you, depending on where you are. This could also be, again, where you're realizing in the reflection of what happened in this last cycle that you have a way of making peace with what happened in the past, even making peace with an individual in the past. This could be like making peace with a parent, making peace with a significant other or an ex, making peace even with a workplace or something along those lines. Because with the Six of Cups coming in, there is a sense here of finally kind of putting something to rest and saying, okay, the Queen of Swords, I know my story now. I see what I survived. I see what I went through. I see the truth of the situation, and now it's time to go. Okay, so let's see what else. Now, for some of you, this could be actually, like literally, for those of you who are possibly looking to make a home move, this could be the Queen of Swords. This could be you where you are literally sharing a truth to someone else in your life or to yourself, saying, yeah, it's time to move to move homes, because a chariot can represent that. It can represent travel. It can represent actually moving home. The World can actually represent travel as well, which is very interesting. So for a very few of you, this may actually be a conversation with someone or with yourself where you say, something has changed fundamentally in the home and it's time now to physically move homes. And that's the Eight of Wands. That's the action. That's like, okay, let's go and do it. And it may seem crazy and chaotic because the Eight of Wands could also, it indicates fast movement. It also indicates a lot of things happening. And that could be part of the judgment out here, that the judgment is that your family has expanded. You could have had another child, something along those lines, and suddenly now it's like, okay, the reality of the situation is we've closed out one cycle, but our home is no longer large enough for the family that we have. We have now become a family of 4, 5, 6, and we have to defend now this change in our life experience. It could also be where this is a sense of, okay, it's time to move because it's no longer financially feasible to live where we do. So we might have to kind of maybe put something to rest here where we kind of struggled, maybe monetary strife in the past. Maybe that's what the cycle you kind of closed out. And you're saying, let's put that to rest and let's find a place that we can. The reality of it is we now have something that's different in our life. Maybe somebody lost their job. That could be a judgment as well. Maybe you're being called up to enter a new phase in your work experience, and it's saying, okay, but in order to do that, we now have to we have to take action steps that are more in alignment with what has currently happened in our life experience, where we are now. Okay, so let's, but there does seem to be, I would say personally, if there was the Knight of Swords here instead of the Queen of Swords, I'd say this was definitely a conversation or a quick, having to tell somebody like, hey, it's time to move. With the Queen of Swords, there's a sense more of speaking from a place of wisdom, speaking from a place of, this is what I learned about myself in our situation in the past cycle, or this is what I learned about what I'm capable of and what I don't want to go through again. And so in order for me to move forward, I'm speaking this truth, I'm living this truth, and as I move forward, I will not repeat the mistakes of the past, or I will make sure to understand that I've survived that so I can survive it again. There's a sense of really being clear from a place of wisdom. And that clarity is what's going to allow you to really, I think, step into this aspect of power as far as moving forward. Okay, so with the Wheel of Fortune, the Princess of Wands, which is the Page of Wands in this deck, we have the Three of Swords at the heart of your reading. So the Wheel of Fortune and the Princess of Wands, the Page of Wands, this is your block or your challenge right now, especially when we look at Judgment with the Seven of Wands, with this defending this new position. I mean, this could be for some of you where you realize, like, yes, we do have to move, and so you're defending you're defending your decision or your clarity and awareness as to how to move forward, something along those lines. But with the Wheel of Fortune and the Princess of Wands, this is the sense that the time is now to play. The Page of Wands has been coming up quite a bit. The Page of Wands is the energy of the child at play. It is someone who is curious, who wants to, somebody who's getting in touch with their passions again. It's a unpolished energy, but it's an energy where it's someone who is just has the time now to go out there and say, like, this feels good. I want to try it out. I want to enjoy this. It can also represent children. So a Page of Wands could be, an active, true child at play in your life experience. And that could have been something with the Wheel of Fortune that was brought in for you. That could be part of the judgment. You have become a parent, or you've become a grandparent, or you have had a growing family, something along those lines. And there's that sense of the Wheel of Fortune that says, this is what fortune has brought you, or this is, the timing is now to embrace this part of yourself. That can also be the case. But with the Three of Swords coming in at the heart of your reading, this is the advice from Spirit saying, it's time to really review the pain and the wounding of the past and finally put it to rest. So you see the Three of Swords here. The Four of Swords is where the individual goes into a state of repose alone to reflect on these three swords and to finally leave them behind on the wall. And he walks away with just his one sword of clarity and truth. He leaves the pain behind. But first, so there really is this sense of, with the Four of Swords, the World, and the Six of Cups, this is wrapping up a cycle of making peace with the past. And what's going to be the key to unlocking this and really allowing you to move forward is to make peace with the pain of the past. Yes, there may have been heartbreak and heartache. Someone might have hurt you. Situation might have been painful. But there's a chance and an opportunity for play, for rejuvenation, for even maybe rekindling a relationship with children in your life. And it's beautiful. But there has to be a sense of really, I think, for many of you, understanding the change in a fundamental change in your life experience here with Judgment, and really be in defense of that change. There's almost a protective quality, not even just a defending, but a protective quality around that. And I love it because on the other side is the Ten of Cups. This is the happy family card. This is your heart's fulfillment in the physical. or in the emotional plane, I'm sorry. This is that true touching of a little piece of heaven on earth through our emotional plane. And it's there and it's waiting. And yet there's a sense, I think, for many of you that first this has to happen. There has to be this making peace with the past, this going in and really reviewing the pain. And the Queen of Swords speaks to that. She speaks to all of the things she has encountered in her life experience. She speaks to the pain. She can even admit her own culpability in the cycles or the negative things that have happened to her, to say, I won't put myself in that position again, or I maybe it was a little naive, but now through knowledge I'm turning into wisdom. I understand that in this, as I move forward and try again, I'm not going to make that mistake again, or I'll put up a boundary, or I will. Again, there's a sense of learning from your lessons. She also knows what she's survived. So that's also the beauty of looking at the Three of Swords. She knows that maybe she's survived heartbreak. She knows that she's survived pain. And she understands that she's stronger now because of that. When we think of scar tissue and the healing of something within ourselves, usually scar tissue is thicker. It's hardier. It tends to be something that is more difficult to break or, hurt. And there's a sense here of maybe for some of you realizing that now, that you're actually, where you were wounded, you are much stronger now. Let's see what else wants to come in. But yes, there's definitely I do get the feeling though that there is a lot of communication around a home move, around travel, or around kind of getting something started again that's been stuck for a while. Like I'm hearing my mind saying, let's go. Let's go. I don't know where you're going, Capricorn, but hopefully it's a great place. Knowing Capricorn always has an eye on a far-reaching goal. So when you speak about getting moving, it's never just on a whim. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords. So there's the Ace of Swords. So you have literally the Three of Swords and the Ace of Swords in the Four of Swords. So this is what's waiting to come in for you. The Ten of Cups and the illumination, the clarity, the realization as to what the Ten of Cups actually is for you, and that it's available for you at this time, as long as you can get past the pain. This would be like saying, you've been hung up on a past relationship that hurt you. And so you have not maybe gone into a new relationship. Maybe you've held yourself back. And yet the fundamental change now is maybe recently you have just gotten engaged. And suddenly you are now someone who is looking to commit to marriage. And there's something here where it's like the realization of, oh my gosh, I have to really face all that pain and wounding from my past relationship that maybe I haven't given myself the chance to fully experience, integrate, and realize that what fortune is bringing in now is a fun, loving relationship, or the ability to have future children with this person. And yet I'm fighting that because I'm not willing to finally just look at the pain of the past, release it, and allow myself to lean into the Ten of Cups. Allow myself to lean in to love, home, and family that's here for me. Now with the Queen of Pentacles as your secondary energy, this is you, Capricorn. This is your card, and there you are. This is someone who has an eye to the future. She is someone who nurtures her pentacle. She is patient. She is loving. She understands that anything worth having is worth doing right. She is willing to play the long-term game, so to speak, where she has a single focus on growing that pentacle, of nurturing that pentacle, of allowing it to become, if we look at the pentacle as a seed, to become the oak tree that in many years' time it will become. So there's really getting, the underlying energy here is to say, really to look at, what do you want to grow from this point? What do you want to nurture more of in your life? And how can you communicate how you would like to move forward in that way? This would be like saying, I do want to nurture a family, in a wonderful relationship. So how can I do that? How can I make that come into my experience now? And how can I defend the judgment, the change in who I am, that now I'm someone who is moving towards committing to a new loving relationship, something along those lines. How can I defend my position and really wanting, this would be like saying maybe for some of you, like, hey, let's move in together. That could very much be this scenario. And now in order for you to do that, you have to face all that fear that comes in based on the pain of the last time maybe you had moved in with someone and the vulnerability that was there because of that. Let's see here. Oh, that was a bad shuffle. Let's try that one again. I'm going to pull some clarifiers and then we're going to jump in. All right, we're going to jump in here. Let's see what else wants to come through. So I feel like you're finding yourself again, Capricorn, which is interesting with the Queen of Pentacles coming out here like that. It's like underneath it all, you're finding yourself. Now we have the Three of Swords clarifying the Wheel of Fortune with the Five of Cups. Yeah, there was something that was very disappointing in the past, whether it was a failed relationship, whether it was a failed, sense of community, that somebody let you down, a friendship that didn't, work out. Whatever it is, with the Five of Cups, that speaks to something that did not work, something that was emotionally disappointing. And the Three of Swords, that is the pain, the wounding coming through. And it's saying that this pain and wounding is what is preventing you from really moving with the energy, with the flow, with the abundance that wants to come in, with the play. Whether it is children, this could actually be where the pain of the past is actually preventing you from really enjoying the current fun in the relationship, where the relationship's just starting to go and you're in that fun dating phase, but yet you're still kind of too focused on, the Five of Cups over here. This could be where you're not allowing yourself to truly enjoy your own family experience because there's too much pain wrapped up maybe in your family. This could be like where you're pulling forward from the pain of growing up with maybe your parents or something that happened in your life experience, that you can't get past that in order to enjoy that in your own family experience and to change it. There's a sense of making peace. You might be trying to constantly, push something away because it gets too close to home and stirring up something from the past that is wounding. And this is saying it's time for you to face that, to openly see it, allow yourself to feel it, pull those swords out and start that healing process, because that's where the clarity that the Ten of Cups is within your reach, Capricorn. So let's see here. Now, this could also just be that, with the Page of Wands, could be a time of play for yourself. Depending on where you are in your experience, this could literally be where life is throwing you all kinds of things that will allow you to just be able to go out there on the fun, grand adventure of just doing, again, what feels good. Okay, yeah, and there's the Seven of Swords. For many of you, you are trying to avoid something. You're trying to either avoid, it's almost like you're saying it's too good to be true. I can't allow myself to have fun. I can't allow myself to play. Or for those of you who have a family, you might be avoiding actually focusing on your children. There could be a sense of that. But yeah, I get the feeling more that there's a sense of like trying to avoid the fun, the play, the new you that's coming through, or the change in your life that's coming through. Let's see what else is coming in here, Capricorn. Yeah, and there's the Three of Cups. That's community, that's support, that's celebration, that's tribe. And there's a sense here of trying to, I think, avoid, there really is a sense here of almost like holding yourself back from community with others, or from celebrating. It's almost like giving in to the fun in life because of something that didn't work in the past, because of the pain of the past. This is like keeping your heart closed, or holding yourself back from maybe joining in with friends because you feel like there's still so much pain you're going through. I can definitely speak to this. I mean, I went through this in my own life, many years ago, before I left my ex-husband, where my life had gotten to the point where it was so disappointing to me, and there were so many things I was going through on an emotional level that were very difficult, that I hid myself away from joining in social groups and social settings because I didn't want to have to speak to almost admit to myself all the things that were wrong, that were going on in my life. And I didn't want to have people see what was really happening. And there's a sense here, maybe almost that a little bit coming through. Maybe for a while you have kind of run from joining in social stuff or showing who you really are, just feeling like a child at play. I mean, this could even be where maybe you started a family and you've been kind of like holding yourself back from joining, with people who also have children because maybe you on the heels of this went through a difficult circumstance. But there's something here around avoiding play and community or friendship or celebrations, things like that. Now, for very few of you, this could actually be with the Three of Cups. Now, I'm going to just say this one time. Sometimes I get that the Three of Cups really speaks to the Five of Cups over here. So the Five of Cups individual is looking at the three cups that have spilled. The two cups are still upright behind him. So the lesson in the Five of Cups is that, yes, the three cups, which represent celebration, community, friendship, all of that, yes, they might have spilled, but there was always someone there in your corner, so to speak. We always have those two cups. We always have someone, even if it's just one person who has our back. But there's something here around that this might be directly relating to, I don't want to join a new friend group because the last one hurt me, or I don't want to invest in, getting into a relationship with another person and everybody know about it only to, have it end up in ruin and then I'm the one embarrassed, that kind of thing. It's like you're trying to hide it. Now, the other interpretation of this with the Seven of Swords and the Three of Cups could be that for some of you, you're actually trying to avoid something through overindulging in drink or food or alcohol or something along those lines, kind of overindulging in something to dull the senses so that you don't have to face the pain. Now, we also have the Three of Swords, which is, so for the Three of Swords, we have the Emperor and we have the King of Swords and the Eight of Wands. Yeah, there's the truth. This is getting your power back, Capricorn. There's a sense here, I think for a long time, the pain has been the Emperor in your life. The pain has had the power. The pain has kind of held you back from really, I think, just really embracing life as the most innocent version of yourself. There's like a sense here of like just coming to the party and showing up as you without kind of feeling like you have to have one foot out the door because someone might hurt you or because a situation might, go a little deeper and it might take you to this Three of Swords place. There's a sense that it's time to take your power back from this pain, whatever it was, whether it was a failed relationship, whether it was family stuff that happened, many, many years ago, whether it was a workplace dynamic that went south, but whatever it is, here comes the King of Swords and the Eight of Wands. The King of Swords is the masculine counterpart to the Queen of Swords. And the King of Swords is this is Aquarian energy. This is the energy of someone who speaks the truth. They have, there's a sense of fairness. This can even be a judge. For some of you, depending on what's happening in your life, this could actually be someone in a legal profession who is passing a judgment. So for some of you, this actually could be where if there's a legal situation that has kind of long been stuck, let's say, this could be where there is a judgment being made in your favor that is going to give you your power back in some aspect and allow you to get moving again. This could be like where you were waiting for, the final judgment to come through. And there could be very much that will help heal a past pain, perhaps. Now, this could also just be that there is another individual in your life who is coming in and saying, and this could be a part of you, where you are just coming in to clearly state, I know what I know, and I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to communicate from this place, and I'm taking my power back. But for some of you, this could literally be a divine counterpart with the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. There's a sense here of maybe someone else in your life who says, yeah, let's go. I'm on board. I see it now. But it can also be where you're just getting into a place of personal confidence of, I see what I've gone through. I know what I've learned. I know what I'm able to even teach others. There could be an element of teaching, and I'm ready to communicate from that place and take my power back. Okay, let's see the Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups, the Tower, there's that Tower coming down. Yeah, the walls are coming down to show where, for some of you, you built an unstable foundation around yourself to protect you from, I think, ever having, and that Tower was getting lost in your day-to-day. The Two of Pentacles, especially with the Tower, is where we are literally just trying to avoid seeing or facing something in our life by just sticking to the routine. Waking up, doing the same thing every day, going to bed. Waking up, doing this, and you're like, too busy to take a look at this. I'm too busy to do this. I got to take the kids to work or kids to school, and then I have to go to work and then to cook dinner, and then I'm going to go to bed, and then I'm going to wake up again, and I'm just too busy to, and it's like finally something comes in and says, no. It's time for you to emotionally connect with your life again. It's time for you to enjoy a heart's fulfillment in your life experience. But first, you have to stop. It's funny because you have two cards of fast movement, quick communication, the Eight of Wands. And yet here there's a sense of like taking that moment to pause and realize in order for you to move forward, you have to let something fall. You have to let something you've built up around your heart, around yourself, go. Because the Charioteer can't go anywhere unless that foundation you've built around yourself is out of the way. And that foundation is is getting lost in the day-to-day experience. It's slowing down, and the Two of Pentacles asks you to make a choice. What are you as the Queen of Pentacles going to nurture? You can't choose both, unfortunately. There's a sense here of having to choose one, and there's one that is more in alignment with your truth. There's one that is more in alignment with getting in the Chariot and moving towards what ultimately feels like home for you. And there's a chance now for true happiness and joy in your life. If you can stop for a moment and make that decision. What do you want to grow more of? And where are you going to focus? Okay, so let's see. For the final Ace of Swords, which is clarity, a new truth. What does Capricorn need to know about clarity and a new truth? It's interesting too for some of you, to Capricorn, if you have an Aquarius or a Aries in your life, there could be communication from these people, because that is the King of Swords and the Emperor. I mean, the Emperor technically embodies both Taurus and Aries energy, but there's a sense here of fast movement, of communication. And so maybe these energies are helping to facilitate this kind of breaking down of your walls a little bit here. Let's see. So we have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Swords with the Three of Coins and the Two of Swords. Yep. This is clarity on there's been a decision you've had to make. Yeah, and the Eight of Cups, walking away from something that is no longer emotionally fulfilling. There has been a decision that has been in the background that has been needed to have been made, Capricorn, around what you want to build now. The Three of Pentacles goes from the Two of Pentacles. You've made the decision, what you're going to focus on. And the Three of Pentacles is taking one step towards that future goal of what you are building. But it also speaks to we build it stronger together. There's a sense of collaboration. It's looking at who you want to build it with. And it's also looking at, with taking one pentacle or one part of your physical resources, being able to bring that to the table and allowing others to help you build that future goal. This is definitely, we build it stronger together. But there's a sense of the clarity here, I think, with it, when you look in your heart to see what is that heart's wish yearning to be experienced in the physical for you. That's what's going to show you where you've been sitting in this place of indecision of saying, I need to walk away from something, but I can't, I don't know. I don't see a way forward. I don't, there's a lot of like, I don't know how to get into the chariot and start moving. And yet everything is primed for you here. There's also this sense of you've changed. You've changed and your experience has changed around you. And that now you're being asked to meet that change, to protect that change, to honor through gratitude that change, and start to really, again, move forward as this new version of yourself, to take your power back from the pain of the past, even make peace with past pain and maybe people from your past. And you get the chance to really move forward, or to really communicate as to how you want to move forward. And that's going to shed a lot of clarity here for yourself as to what is the next kind of chapter looking like? What are you building on? What are you focused on growing more of? And what are you walking away from emotionally? What is no longer emotionally supportive is really going to highlight for you what is. If you're walking away, what are you walking towards? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself too, what no longer feels emotionally fulfilling to you? This could be a home. This could be a way of even being. Maybe you have been sitting in a place of kind of, quiet, I would say, not despair, but quiet disappointment, where you're like, I don't have any friends, or this didn't work out, or I never seem to get this. And there's a sense now maybe walking away from that whole mentality of saying, there's a lot of joy and abundance that wants to come in now. So it's time to focus forward instead of maybe focused backwards. Okay, so let's see. What wants to come in, Capricorn? But there could be a truth of a situation too, Capricorn, coming in with it. I'm just looking at, again, the King of Swords with the Emperor. There's a sense here of really getting in alignment with someone in your life as well. The Emperor, that really can speak to anyone who has authority. And there's a sense here of really either speaking truth around someone maybe who has, speaking around authority in your life, that either A, you've given authority over to someone or pain, or B, that you've had issues with authority. Maybe you've been the one that's been too controlling. And there's a sense of speaking truth around that. And with the Eight of Wands, I'm getting communication, which is really interesting around that. I mean, this could even just be speaking out loud the pain that you're releasing, or what you've gone through, and then being able to say, okay, this is the pain, and now I'm ready to move on. I had to express that. Let's get the wheels going again. Something along those lines. And I love this. It says, surrender to miracles. Be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. And then it says, surrender your ego. Cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. And that is a card I know, and obviously that can be triggering to some people where they're like, hey, I am humble. Like, what are you talking about? But there's a sense that sometimes we can get, especially if there's been any type of power dynamics, like what I was just speaking to, where sometimes we can, in order to protect ourselves from pain, we can put ourselves in a position where we are the authority, where we have everything under control so that something can't come in and surprise us and hurt us again. And so there can be a sense here of maybe having to look at that part within yourself, if it is there, Capricorn, where you kind of wrestle with control to mitigate pain. And to really, there's a sense of having to kind of just release that. Again, with the Page of Wands, there's such an innocent energy. There's such a child at play innocent energy coming through. That there's a sense of maybe surrendering that part of yourself that you've maybe had to project to protect yourself. That strong, Capricorn, you tend to be someone who, most Capricorns are going to bring in masculine energy in some aspect of their life experience, because Capricorn is the father archetype in the tarot, or I'm sorry, in the world of astrology, where Cancer is the mother archetype. And so there's a sense here that you will always kind of, on some level, play a paternal role or have paternal energy kind of come through you at different points in your life. Whether you're, identify as a female or a male, that doesn't matter. It's just the energy coming through. So there may be a sense here that maybe you really had to step up into that masculine role for a period of time because you had to protect a wounded part of yourself. And now you might be able to kind of release a little bit of that version of yourself, because again, when we think about judgment, that can represent an ego death, that a part of ourself that we identified with has now had to be released for us to become a new version. And there's a sense of surrendering that ego so that you can really, through curiosity, embrace the new version of yourself that's coming through. It's almost like a refreshed version of yourself. And that can be very positive, when we think about it, when we can just kind of release that sense of I have to kind of project this image of a strong person or project this image of, control, and just to say, hey, I don't have all the answers. And, that's something I've learned in the last cycle. I don't have all the answers. And yeah, I might get hurt, but you know what? It's worth opening myself up again, because the joy that's possible is not worth, the joy that I might miss is not worth, living with the pain and preventing myself from really leaning into that joy. There's a sense here, and it's hard for me to really get that out. But I hope you can understand intuitively what I'm speaking to. And I think for many of you, this emotional walking away from something is emotionally the Eight of Cups, walking away from a version of yourself that is associated with that pain. And now really embracing those who want to celebrate with you, the tribes, the community that wants to come in, even the family unit that's there to really support you. So I will leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you would like to book your own personal reading where you can take a look at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time, you can click on the link in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you all for your next Soul Illumination reading. Bye, Capricorn.